YuGiOh Sevens is airing on April the 1st, 2020. Everything that you need to know, that you pretty much need to know, gearing up to watch that is in another video I just did a little earlier, so please check it out. In this video, I'm gonna say my raw thoughts and elaborate on certain points I've either made on social media or on just wherever. So please bear with me, and with that being said, it's time to discuss. So, YuGiOh Sevens, eh? First time ever we're getting a different studio animating it, and how do I say this very nicely? When I saw the visuals, I was a bit gobsmacked, but not in the way which I wanted to. And my reaction at the time was like, oh my god, it looks absolute trash. I've had 48 hours to truly sit down, think about this, and try to articulate with myself what my thoughts are. So it seems like the change in studio has warranted a very noticeable change in style, and what I said was it looks like a little mix between the new Bakugan or the new Beyblade, and it doesn't really feel like Yu-Gi-Oh! And dare I say it really doesn't feel like Yu-Gi-Oh! At the same time, we need to give this a chance. And why are they doing this? Let me tell you why. It's quite simple, but it's also it needs the anime fans to take into account how big the TCG is. So on April the 1st, with the airing of the new Yu-Gi-Oh anime, there's also going to be a Master Rule update. What is a Master Rule? Master Rule is essentially the massive school of rules that we abide by whilst playing the game. Of course, you had Master Rule 1, 2, 3, and the most recent one is Master Rule 4. This one isn't Master Rule 5, it's more so a Master Rule update. So there's no new mechanic, there is no new type of monster. We have the introduction of Rush Duels. Now that's going to be its own entity. It's not going to affect the current TCG or OCG meta game as we know it. It's very similar to Speed Duels. It has its own format, it has its own card type, and it's separate, completely and utterly separate. They might share some artwork or card names which are similar, but the mechanics and the fundamental ways that the Rush Duel works is different to our current game. So, and this is introduced as part of YuGiOh Sevens. They are going to have a lot of callbacks, it seems, with the inclusion of Blue Eyes White Dragon to kind of tickle that nostalgic factor, but it is a hard pill to swallow that YuGiOh Sevens doesn't seem to be for me, nor does it seem to be for a lot of people that I know. I've met a lot of great people whilst doing YouTube and talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! And also on the Facebook page, which needs to be changed. And they all said, oh my god, what is this? I've seen the interactions on Twitter, and myself, I'm gonna hold my hand up. I was very quick to say how shit it looks on Twitter. And as I said earlier, I've had a decent amount of time to reflect on this, and I've come to the conclusion that I'm not their target market. I've said a few years ago, I made a video how Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains was the 5Ds of the second era. What do I mean by that? Well, to summarize, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, they all follow a somewhat linear pattern. They have a somewhat linear timeline of events. And also that resonates to the audience as well. I started watching Yu-Gi-Oh! Quite bloody young, and by the time 5Ds was airing, I was in my late teens. I grew up watching Yu-Gi-Oh! And by the time Zexal came up, I've grown up. And I didn't give it any time of day. It took me a while to finally watch 5Ds to accept the change. And God, am I happy that I accepted the change and I got over my ignorance factor to give it a try. But the main point I'm trying to hit home is that Yu-Gi-Oh! To Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, you grow up with the series. Now, even if you tuned in at a young age at GX, you still somewhat haven't missed too much, and you can kind of piece things together. And since they run for 3 to 4 years, 3 years normally, so a 9-year span of a linear story from Yu-Gi-Oh! To 5Ds, and then we had Zexal, Arc 5, and then Vrains. One of the patterns that I observed, and I'm sure many of you observed as well, was that Yugi was 15, Jaden was also 15, and Yusei was 17. Although GX seemed a little bit more kiddier, it's a little more happy-go-lucky, but the latter seasons were very, very bloody dark, 5Ds really hit home that, okay, in this third installment of the series, we're going to go for a more mature audience. We're going to go for we're not going for young, small children anymore. It's a tad older. We want to be a little bit more edgy, a little cooler. So they dialed it back down with Zexal, with Yuma being 13 years old. And then they slowly went back up again with Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5, with Yuya being 14 years old. Of course, it gets darker in the latter seasons, but if you see the pattern of the protagonist, you start young, you get older, you drop back to being young again. And with Yusaku in Reigns, he was 16. However, he was extremely mature. And now they drop back down to the youngest it's ever been, with Yuga being 11 years old. I saw that and I was like, okay, wow, they're in elementary school. Now, I had a lot of issues with Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal in how immature the cast were and how unbearable it were at times, just seeing the interactions between characters. I'm hoping we don't see that in this series, but why would they listen to my hopes? I think they will do exactly that. If they are 11, they should behave like 11-year-olds, shouldn't they? They should be doing stupid, crazy stuff and being enigmatic, charismatic, and generally overly energetic. So this series is not aiming at an older demographic or a older than usual demographic. It's going back down to its roots. It's going for the new duelist, the new potential duelist. Because what is the main aim of the anime or any anime? Is to sell toys. And what is one of the most profitable and lucrative toys out there? Trading card games. If you want to know more about trading card games, there are various great Yugi tubers, as they call it, out there who talk about this. I play the game quite competitively myself, and what I can say is that it is not beginner friendly at this current stage. And I do think that Konami have identified this, and they're thinking, you know what, it is not beginner friendly, so why don't we introduce rush duels? And this is very similar to how they introduced speed duels, and also with Duel Links is to recapture old fans and simplify the game so new fans are not put off by the very, very complex mechanics and strategies out there. I was at a locals the other day. There was a kid who must have been around 10 or 11. Oh, bless him. He came to duel and he was playing this prick of a guy who was playing Orcus, and he just had no mercy. He done his full combo, probably went on for like a good 7 to 10 minutes on his first turn, made an unbreakable board. The kid was playing those Yugi structure decks. He didn't have no XC's links, nor did he have any fusions. He was playing basic stuff like, Gazelle, King of the Mythical Beast, and the guy just had no mercy, and it's just not user friendly. I don't expect that kid to have the passion to come back the next week or the week after if he's going to get essentially destroyed by the meta decks or the people who are seasoned veterans or are used to the games. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is not friendly to newcomers, so they need to kind of dial it back down. And they're like thinking, you know what, maybe the game has become, and it has become its own beast. It's uncontrollable in terms of trying to ensure that is the fan base or the people who duel or take up dueling is replenishable from young to old. You're always getting in and funneling in a younger or a young new batch of duelists. It's not the case. It seems that you have your batch right now and you're very rare, and it's very unlikely for you to get very new people dueling, and they're mainly adults because it's a complex game, and with the tournaments it gets very, very competitive. And with rush duels, I think that they're dialing it back down. They're making it even more friendly for duelists, newcomers, and also for young duelists, and they can also reach out to a younger audience with this new series. Is that bad? No, it's really not. But is it something which I would like? No, because I'm a selfish prick. I want stuff tailored to me, and I truly want to enjoy it myself. I want to invest all my time into it. And I guess the question is, yo, Dimsy, are you gonna cover this new series? Perhaps. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I'm not excited by it. And I know I've not really explained my year-long absence on YouTube. A lot of it was the fact that I was tired of not being able to see and consume the media at my own pace, and I felt compelled that I had to make videos on Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains when there were times when I was stacking up the videos. I prefer to watch things and binge things 2-3 videos at a time. And there's a video, I have recorded a video, but I don't know if I want to release it. It's a bit personal and I'm a bit unsure releasing it, in all honesty. Again, I want to echo what I would have said in that video here. Thank you so much. You don't understand. You really don't understand how much your support has meant to me and how it has helped me. It's helped me so much. Anyway, back to the topic. I think with the new changes, it's, as I said, it's understandable. It's translating with the art style. Recently with Pokemon, with Dragon Ball, with One Piece, they're taking a more softer outlook with the artwork. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has been famous with its great art style, but quite a rigid art style. And that's understandable because there's a lot of detail in the monsters and you want that to translate. The monsters have been CGI for the last couple of series, but it seems like they've been CGI'd as well as adopting a new art style. I don't know how to think about or feel about that. With Pokemon, Dragon Ball, One Piece. So with Dragon Ball and One Piece, it's more quality and it's more efficient for the animators. And I guess the same thing for Pokemon as well. But with Dragon Ball and One Piece, it's very similar to the style as well. It's more closer to the manga style than the actual anime style. So it's a very welcome change. With Pokemon, there was initial backlash with Sun and Moon. They've changed it up a few times, but the animations have been way more fluid and more nicer and easier on the eye. Before, it was quite rigid, and I know some people prefer that, some people don't. With Yu-Gi-Oh! It doesn't seem like it's fitting to the manga style nor the previous anime that we've been used to for the last, how many years has it been now? It's been 18, 15, 16, I don't know, a lot of years. 6 different series have had the same or a very similar art style and they've looked quality, and this has been the first one to truly change it up. And I will echo this, I will repeat this. It looks like a bastardized version of Bakugan slash Beyblade. I don't know, it's just not my cup of tea. It's just really not my cup of tea. But the main point is that this new Yu-Gi-Oh! Series is trying to recapture dominance in terms of the card game. It needs to have a resurgence with new people taking the game up. Remember, Duel Masters and the other one, there's a few other card games which they're quite popular in Japan. It's not Yu-Gi-Oh! That is the top dog that has absolute dominance. There is quite a lot of competition out there, and even in the West with Magic being as popular as it is, and with Yu-Gi-Oh! Fans, myself at a time being somewhat, I didn't like the formats that we had. I didn't like the decks that were running rampant, especially in this Master Rule 4. This new Master Rule update has given a breath of fresh air, but also a lot of excitement in terms of creativity and dueling. And it seems that Konami are going to allow us to be creative and allow us to be excited. But for those fans, and there's not many, there really isn't many from what I've seen, for those fans who are dual fans of the card game and the anime, unfortunately, it does seem that we're left with the choice of you pick one or the other. I'm going to try. I'm going to try and give Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens a chance. Unfortunately, it's gonna have a very, very unfair barometer. My patience is very low. I'll give it a couple episodes. If I don't like it, I'm dropping it. And if you guys really want me to check it out, or if there's really some hype episodes, please let me know. Bombard me with messages on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and I'll be sure to check it out again. I trust your judgment. You guys are the ones watching my videos, so we share similar interests. I hope my interests translate with you lot, or you can at least understand where I'm coming from. I've taken a lot of your time. I am extremely grateful again for you lot checking this out. Please check out the other video, everything that you need to know about Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens. And with that being said, please make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. When you do this, you may now exit Dimsy's domain. Thank you. Goodbye. Take care. Don't die.